Hey, internet friends. This is Mandalina, and today I want to introduce you to a method that I use to make myself feel really good. I call this method BYB method, or balancing your brain method. And I came to, basically, I asked a very simple question. I asked myself, how can I bring my brain into balance? I realized that kids by the age of 7 are in a state of a balance. The brain is pretty balanced. They don't have a critical thinking skills. In other words, the conscious mind is not in the way of their learning. And that's why they adopt things much faster. And that's how I realized that if I could find a way to bring myself into the balance that I was when I was, at a very young age, then I can much faster introduce the ideas and reinforce those ideas in my mind. And therefore, by bypassing my conscious mind, I can create a better life for myself. And so after asking that question, I realized and I learned, and I kind of explored quite a bit about this, and I learned that the left side of our brain, the left hemisphere, is controlling our right side of our body. And equally, the right side of our brain controls the left side. In other words, I realized that if I engage my left and my right side in the activity where my mind has to be focused on, if you like, then I can, my brain is in balance and I have access to my subconscious, which is extremely powerful. And once I have that access, I can introduce ideas that I really want to introduce there. Now, you can also do this if you do hypnosis, but you need someone to help you with that, most likely. And in a deep state of meditation, this kind of thing can also work. But so as I said, it's a very simple method. All you need to do is to consider two different shapes or do two different letters or numbers, but they have to be, you just need two. So what I did, I prepared this one earlier. I have a shape of triangle here and I have Z here. And all I do is I use an index finger of one hand and I trace the triangle lines like that. I can do that fast, I can do that slower. I decide, it makes no difference what you do. And then I take the index finger of my other hand and I trace that, and then I trace it back. So I keep doing that, right? At the same time. So that's really important. I do this using my left and my right hand at the same time. What this achieves is that my mind is now, because there are different shapes, my mind has to really focus on what I'm doing on the paper. I suggest that you can draw this and then you can fix that paper to the desk so that it kind of doesn't move, or you can just pretend that you are drawing a letter Z with one hand and triangle with another. That's what I do. I don't kind of use paper. This is just for demonstration only purposes. Excuse me. And while I'm doing this exercise, I'm reinforcing ideas I want to reinforce. And therefore, it's always a positive affirmation. That's very important. Because our mind doesn't recognize the negatives and can't process the negatives, so it has to be in a positive. And I repeat that idea for a few minutes, couple of minutes, not longer. It doesn't really require, but it does need to be frequent thing. It's not enough just to do it once and then just go about your life and forget about it. Like any method, it requires consistency and efficiency, and it has to be done at regular intervals for that to be effective. And what's going to happen is you're going to start feeling differently. you have to, because the mind is getting a different ideas from the usual clutter of thoughts that we have. And when we purposely create and put ideas in our mind, it reinforces the neural pathways in our brain, and our brain then naturally goes down that route. So that's really important. It's extremely powerful. And we reinforce what happens in our brain every time, all the time, sometimes with repetition particularly. This is very good example is learning how to drive, because driving is you're using motorics of your body, and you program your body to do certain moves. And as you do that, you program your mind and you program your body. And then when you sit behind the wheel, you just repeat. But you have to repeat it over and over and over again until it becomes part of your program. And this is what how our mind works. It works on repetition. That's why it's really important to maintain this process. As I said, if you want to be confident, maybe all you need to do is spend a couple of minutes in the morning, maybe in the morning when you get up, or in the evening before you go to sleep. It's pretty good to do that, because you go to bed with really good ideas in your mind. And you just repeat idea for about maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute, but you do the exercise by, as I said, tracing with both of your fingers at the same time. You're tracing back and forth, or you're just going in a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction, whichever you prefer, or you can just change it later and just do the different shapes, and then you go back and forth on this one, because it's not closed shape, although you can make one as well. It makes no difference. The most important thing is that they are uniquely different. And when you do learn, when you make this motoric, so when you do it too many times, it then becomes part of, you're doing it automatically. It's almost like your brain, your subconscious says, oh, I know how to do this. Then you change the shapes. That's really important. So when you realize that your mind is wandering off when you're doing it, it means you don't have to focus on it anymore with your conscious mind. And then you have to change the shapes, because the idea behind the BYB method is to deceive your conscious mind, or to bypass your conscious mind, so that your conscious mind is occupied. And when your conscious mind is occupied doing these activities, it doesn't have time to argue with you. So when you say, I feel confident, I am confident, every day in every way I feel more and more confident, your body starts feeling it, because your mind is not saying, oh yeah, you know that's not true, or oh, you are so not confident, or whatever your mind would tell you otherwise when you say something that maybe is not true for you right now. And so because your mind is now focused on something else, it cannot argue with you. And you have now opportunity to really focus on the feeling. I feel confident, and you kind of get the feeling what that confidence could feel if you were. I mean, by the way, talking about confidence, we are all confident in certain things, and we know what confidence feels like in our body. So, are you confident eating? Yeah, probably. Dressing up, you are confident, pretty confident. Putting shoes on, yeah, pretty confident too. So there are things where we are pretty confident. And of course, when we talk about confidence, we are talking about, confidence speaking in front of video, or confidence speaking in front of people, or in the meeting, or just expressing your views, or just being confident preaching, the opposite sex, or whatever it is. And the only reason why we are not confident in that area is because we have not consistently done something, and it's all about repeating things over and over until we become competent in that, and then it becomes just second nature. But in order to do that, we have to reinforce ourselves so that our posture changes. Our body feels different when we feel confident. You know, the more of our body becomes different, and so then we kind of feel confident as well. So this is the method, and what I'm going to do next is to just create small short videos where each video is going to have a theme, and it's just going to be that theme for that video, and there's going to be numerous videos, very short bite-sized videos. And what I suggest you do is just record those, either I'm going to paste in the comments the affirmations that I'm going to be reading out, and then you can either do that by your own voice and record a voice memos, and then use that when you are doing this process, or you can just repeat after me and kind of stop and pause, and then just do a next affirmation and a next affirmation, whichever way works for you. I'm sure you can work it out. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Be blessed wherever you are on this beautiful planet. I love you. Take care. Bye.